Welcome to the implementation video for the peer tutoring program. How do we set up the evaluation? So the first task to do is to identify a target group of Year 3 learners who you've identified have a gap in their knowledge for this topic in mathematics. And then using the What Worked trial wizard, you then allocate these into the intervention and control group. So if you'd selected 12 learners and you enter this into the system, 6 will be placed into the intervention group and 6 will be randomly allocated into the control. You then complete the pre-assessment test with both groups of learners. And then the intervention group receive the peer tutoring program, and then the control group continue as normal. And then both groups complete the post-assessment. After the post-assessment has been completed, the control group can then receive the peer tutoring program. The intervention. So the peer tutoring program focuses on Year 3 pupils. The lessons are set up and these are designed around the statistics topic, and these are delivered by your Year 5 peer tutors. And each lesson takes approximately 20 to 25 minutes for the peer tutors to complete. So what lessons are included for this topic? Lesson 1 covers frequency tables. Lesson 2 goes into pictograms. Lesson 3, bar charts for interpreting. Lesson 4, bar charts for creating. Lesson 5, statistics problems 1. Lesson 6, statistics problems 2. All the resources are provided in the resource folder, either in the PowerPoint or in worksheet format. Generally, schools implement this using Chromebooks or laptops using the PowerPoints, and students use whiteboards with whiteboard pens for recording their answers to work through. One of the most important parts of a peer tutoring program is selecting and training your peer tutors. It's important to work with your Year 5 teacher to select students who will benefit most from the opportunity to be a peer tutor. We advise you to provide the lesson resources 1 week in advance to your peer tutors so they're familiar with the content. And you may want to consider using this approach as a target intervention by selecting pupil premium students. We do include a very short peer tutoring training PowerPoint, which you can use to go through with your peer tutors on what makes a good peer tutor. Key considerations. Logistical issues need to be considered before using a peer tutoring program as an intervention in your school. So the first one to consider is time. Is there a suitable time for the peer tutoring in your school day? This takes between 20 and 25 minutes. Intensity. Will the lessons be run weekly or twice a week? This dictates whether it's a 3 or 6 week program in your school. Location. Is there a suitable location in the school for the peer tutoring, such as the library or the classroom? And supervision. Will someone be able to supervise the peer tutoring sessions? This could be a TA or a teacher. Reminders. On the day of the tuition, can peer tutors and tutors be reminded about the lesson? This will help with the attendance. And the resources. We provide all the resources in the resource folder, but if you're using digital devices, just make sure that these are available for the time of the peer tutoring sessions. And finally, if you have a reward system in your school, could you use this to help incentivize both the tutors and the tutees to reward for their efforts? Logistical barriers are common in any intervention delivered in schools, so it's important to consider these prior to starting the program. We include a tracking spreadsheet in the resource folder. This is for when you go onto the trial wizard and it allocates your learners into the intervention or control. Just make sure you record these on the tracking spreadsheet to link to an anonymous student ID with a student name in your class. And again, just to reiterate, no personal identifying information goes onto the What Worked Teachers platform. The assessment. The outcome measure is attainment as defined by the pre and post assessment. The assessment is marked out of 21 and is the same for both the pre and the post assessment. As both the control and the intervention groups receive the same assessment, familiarity with this will not bias the effect size. And finally, the assessment guidance. Can you try to complete this under exam style conditions? Allow approximately 21 minutes for this to take place. Make sure you record your pre and post assessment scores on your tracking spreadsheet and then input them into the platform. And just a reminder that any data is anonymized on our platform at this relevant stage of the evaluation. So the next step is to move on to the Trial Wizard, but just make sure you download the protocol and the resource folder before you get started.